Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 162 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of July 27th through August 2nd, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And I'm Leah Metz.
And we are opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode.
What recipes can we get now?
We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you very much, Danielle. They're doing last coats, I think, of the polyurethane over the newly scorched floors. You know, they got
Scorched. Ooh.
Yeah, they did laid down the plywood and then went over it with a blowtorch, and it brings all the color out of the wood. And then they've gone over.
It's a great look.
Yeah, they've gone over it a couple of times with polyurethane. And I think I just read 47 minutes ago, she's psyching herself up to lay down a final coat of poly on these floors. They're level, they're solid, they're beautiful, and definitely a labor of love. So,
looking forward to when we can all get back in there and enjoy an adult beverage and some good music.
Absolutely. So, as you can hear in the background, the music is back. So we have reconvened in our pseudo fine dining restaurant, still dressed in our gym shorts and barefooted. But hey, we're close to being back to the old TLD. I mean, not TLD, the Man Who Ate the Town setup. It also helps that I have Pro Tools available in my house now. I can do all this. So,
cool.
First thing, a 1703 restaurant is closing for the next 10 days due to an employee having C-19. They say that even though he hasn't been in the restaurant over the last few days, they are just being cautious and going through a rigorous cleaning to make sure everyone else is safe, employees and customers alike. So, of course, much luck to them.
I applaud the effort. I know that's a tough decision to make, too.
Yep. And someone else who has gone through that, Alma Mexicana, has completed their summer service and will close their restaurant until further notice in an effort to combine their employees with the porch to ensure safety and quality food to everyone. They went through that scare a couple of weeks back that they had just gotten reopened and then had to reclose, and didn't have to. That's the procedure they chose to take, and we commend them for that. Also, if they chose not to take that procedure, as long as they're being safe, we commend that. The point is be safe and do what's best for your business, not what other people might tell you. Yesterday, which was the 26th, was the 9th anniversary of Camino Bakery. Now, I'm not quite sure if that is 9 years in the 4th Street location or if that includes the time in Cranky's basement that Carrie was doing before. But either way, happy anniversary to Carrie Clifford and her partners and their crew.
They really just done a great job with Camino over the years.
Yeah, I mean, going from just a little side project in the basement of Cranky's to 3 locations, one being a staple of downtown. That's just, that's awesome.
I mean, you used to go in there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd think, all right, it's going to be dead now. No, there'd be a line, places packed. People love to go down there and get a cup of coffee, get something to eat. Yeah, great spot. Watch the people walk back and forth on the sidewalk.
And I don't know if you can find a sweeter, nicer person than Carrie Clifford.
Yeah.
She is just an
amazing,
amazing human, and she wants to make other people amazing humans as well and make them feel like amazing humans. And that's always a plus when you have that going.
Well, it's part of why the food is so good. It's got that much love in it.
Yep. As our friend B. McGee has said many times, that, it's when it's not made with love, you can tell. Again,
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Chang Mai Tai has changed her profile pic, which just takes away the stylized font and replaces it with the plain nondescript font. But also, again, nothing about the restaurant itself.
Thanks for playing.
We updated the page.
Yeah.
We updated it. Yes, we did. We updated. Yes, it's new. It's different. Got a plain font.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tells you a lot.
We have dumbed down the font and still won't tell you anything about our restaurant.
Yeah, there's some people that they just don't get it. They could do the work,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to run the business.
Yep. As Leah says, thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Cibo Trattoria finally made the social media jump and created their own social media pages. So when you go to the list now, it's them and not Trey Street Diner, Cibo, Trey Street Diner again.
Confusion eliminated.
Yeah. So from what I can tell from the pictures, the food looks really good. I haven't been there yet, but yeah. So I'm waiting to see what other people say. I've not read or heard anybody say anything yet, so I'm just waiting to hear. Cowboy Brazilian Steakhouse is offering your choice of 2 desserts or a bottle of house wine with the purchase of 2 full Rodizio dinners. And that will be valid from yesterday through the end of August 2020. And you must mention the ad, and they spelled it with 2 Ds, but you must mention the ad vert to the server to receive this promotion.
Well, they added 2 desserts.
Yeah.
But does that mean that you have to share the dessert, or can you just keep it for yourself?
I'd be keeping it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Or can you, or does that dessert for 2, or is it 2 different desserts?
Oh.
Let's clarify that.
Yeah.
It's all in the wording. I care
Because
more
even if
about
I don't
that.
share, then that's dessert for like 4 or 5, depending on how many personalities emerge while I'm eating.
That's right. That's right,
Well, at
Sybil.
least you know.
Welcome to Cowboys, Sybil.
I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. What's going on here?
Process.
Why is your
I want the process.
Oh, yeah, the precious. Now, that's really good stuff right there.
Why is your head spinning?
Is that green pea
Hold
soup?
on. Okay, there we go. Straight there.
Okay.
Okay. So, and Finnegan's Finnegan's Wake has expanded their weekend hours to midnight. So Wednesday and Thursday they're open until 10. Friday and Saturday until midnight. Their back patio is open, the front patio too. So take advantage of your favorite Irish pub's expanded hours.
I'm already in bed by 9, so I'll just go earlier.
Yeah.
But thanks for staying open later.
But just in case you needed to be out later, you can be there till midnight.
Yeah, we were debating this weekend about going to the drive that they've set up at the fairground, the
Yep.
drive-in theater.
Oh, I do know
It's
they
like,
were
right, so
guests
when's the
on the
first
list
movie
as I was.
start? It's like, when's the first movie start? About 8:45. It's like, I want to be home and in my pajamas by 8:45. It's like, well, yeah, but that's just now getting dark at 8:45, so that's when they can show the movie. I'm like, I'll go rent it.
Details.
Yeah, we drive
Yeah.
by the one down here at Union. I live about 1.5 miles from the marketplace, and they're doing the one down there too. And it seems to be doing really well.
Are they doing it out in the parking lot then?
Mm-hmm. On the back side, you remember where Farmore used to be?
Yeah.
Okay, so and Metal Rebel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they have that side with a big screen on the side and a trailer, and they just project it up on that. They have food trucks out there. Their concession stand is still open on the inside. So, and the guys from the drive, because I had I can't remember his name, but I know Gabe, the other guy involved, were on the Less Desirables 2 weeks before they opened, and they went to the one at Marketplace. So, And this is all temporary. I know, like Aperture and a couple of those places and AMC and all those are kind of worried about the popping up of drive-ins, but that's all it is. It's pop-up. It's only something to hold people over, because I'm sure the guy at the marketplace would rather have people inside. Mm-hmm. Although I'm sure he's not hurting right now with the people, because it's always packed. When we go by there later at night, the place is packed. But so it's just temporary. So let's not get ourselves in an uproar here.
Right.
I just think it's a really cool idea, and I love the fact that people are being creative,
right,
and taking this old idea and saying, all right, how do I refresh that?
Right. I mean, it's got to. They have the space. People need some entertainment that they can do in their own space. I mean, basically, you're in your car. I did ask the guys from the drive, will you be showing rated R movies at all? And right now they said they plan to eventually, but I said, but you're transmitting the audio over FM radio, right? And they said, yeah. I said, so what happens if they cuss?
Well, how does that work?
Now, the thing
one of the
is,
movies they were
one of the
weekend,
things.
One of the movies was Purple Rain.
Oh, okay.
There's cussing in Purple Rain.
Yes, but if they do it after 10, I believe Safe Harbor kicks in. So I think it's okay then. Yeah. So I don't know.
Those are the Purple Rain, and I forget what the other. There were two midnight features, and Purple Rain was one of them. But I mean, there's nudity in Purple Rain too.
That's true, but you can't convey nudity over airwaves.
Yeah,
Not audio waves.
They're nude. Cover your eyes. Oh, wait.
Cover your ears so you can't see it.
That's not Lake Minnetonka. That's not Lake Minnetonka.
That scene in particular,
yes, that's exactly the scene. Yes, right after When Doves Cry, or Take Me With You. Take Me With You is what it is. Yeah.
And then let's just throw Darling Nikki into the mix without having to say anything else.
That's right.
Woo!
That's right. Stephanie and one of her friends got told by a teacher in the playground, I guess in '84, that I was 14, she was 11. That fourth, fifth grade told her to stop singing that in the playground. She didn't know what she was doing.
Oh yes, she did.
Met her in a hotel lobby masturbating with a magazine.
Yeah,
it's pretty clear right up front what's going on.
Yeah, she said it was fourth grade. Yeah. Leah, what's happening on the south side of the list?
So, Zaccaret is back open.
Mm-hmm.
So they're back up and
Good.
open again today. Yeah. And
Did they participate in the 4th Street thing yesterday?
Oh, you know what? I don't think they did, because they had noted that they weren't going to be open till Monday. But let's go over and check out and see if they did.
Now, what was the thing on 4th Street yesterday?
Oh, they did the street dining,
Streetery.
streetery. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from Trade Street to Marshall, they closed 4th Street so they could have in-street dining. And of course, there was a very peaceful march through from BLM
Protest,
folks,
yeah.
and people were up in arms about that. And like, they didn't bother anybody. They walked through. Shut up. But I hate people. But
I'm with you. If it's a peaceful protest,
just leave them alone.
Isn't that a constitutional right to free assembly and free speech?
It is, and you know what? Eating in the street is not a constitutional right. So, shut up.
But it is some creativity to figure out another way to address how do we do this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's creative enough to say, what if we just close the streets down long enough to let them have a couple services out in the street?
Yeah, and they've been talking about trying to do that. At one time in the 70s, Trade Street was closed and turned into a pedestrian mall, right? And then they reopened that several years later because, quote unquote, it did not work. And there has been talk and trying to get people to close Trade Street back down to a pedestrian mall, but the problem with that is Trade Street's where the bus station is, so you can't necessarily close that part. You can close it from Millennium Center back,
right?
But
back out to MLK.
Yeah.
Was that fifth to 6th or
fifth
to 7th?
Fifth priority to MLK, I would say.
Yeah, all the way back up to where Fiddle and Fish and all that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't close that because that's a pretty main artery. But those other streets are just side streets, so I could see closing those. And I know a lot of the restaurants and stuff. People, not the restaurants themselves, but some people complain, well, I'm not going to go there if I have to walk. Which is the age-old thing. They're going to go, if they go to the mall, they'll walk all day, but they don't want to go walk before they go eat and drink. So,
especially a place like Haynes Mall, it's literally a half mile from one end to the other.
No joke. Plus,
I'm not going to go walking today, but I've been back up and been down up and down to the mall, both sides.
These are probably the same people, too, that are going at Christmas time and have to park at Carolina Ale House to walk all the way over to get into the mall. And then walk all the way to the end and back.
Listen, it doesn't have to make sense to you. It makes sense to me.
That's exactly right. I get it. Deal with it,
pal.
There.
Yes.
Like, I played golf in high school and college, but if I can't get that front row parking spot, I ain't walking. So take that.
It's too far to walk. I can't do it.
I'll walk 18 holes of golf course now, but that's different.
I walk, chasing that ball.
I've been known to park further back just to make myself walk, just to get some movement and exercise.
Well, you crazy.
That's a given. I thought we'd already established that.
Yeah, boy.
I say, do this. Be a part of this little trio. You gotta be crazy.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you crazy right with us.
Well, there's a reason I asked you, girl.
But that's a good crazy. It's a good crazy. If we didn't think that it was a good crazy, we wouldn't have invited you.
That's right.
You wouldn't have talked to me at all.
No, because we know some people that are just cray, and we never asked them to do this.
And there's your sign, people. If you ever wanted to know, there's your sign.
There's your sign.
Well, on another note.
Yes.
Pulliams. Is it Pulliams? Pullmans?
Pulliams.
The hot dogs.
Yeah.
They've done gone on vacation. So you're not going to get a hot dog until August 3rd. And it looks like they're at the beach sunning, getting some sun.
They do that every year, don't they, Tim?
They do. And I'm glad I went last week. I went Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go to Zesto, and for whatever reason, Zesto was quote unquote closed for maintenance, according to the sign on the door. So I ran over, since I was on that side of town, and went on up to Pulliams and had a dog from there. 2 of them, actually. They have really good hot dogs.
If you're going to eat one, you're going to have to eat 2.
That's right.
I mean,
it's a lot.
So I had 2 hot dogs and 2 bottles of water for $7. I mean,
that's pretty good.
And those were big dogs too. Those weren't the little 3-inch dogs.
Right. Yeah. These were good. So that's a good deal, and it's probably the most famous hot dog place in town, them and Kermit's.
I'm gonna say, they have been here like 9,000 years.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Back when dirt was a fad.
Exactly. That dirt ain't never gonna last. Nobody's gonna want that.
Nobody's gonna want that dirt.
Nobody wants that. So the other thing, which it's not on our list because they're based out of High Point.
Mm-hmm.
So Lexington via High Point.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. We went down kayaking in the Uwharrie River. Muddy. But on the way home, stopped at Goose and Monkey Brewery, which they had just opened like weeks before COVID all came down. But they had the Medley food truck, who's based out of High Point, and I've seen them every now and again. We'll find them in town or sometimes in Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got some good food. That stuff, the mac and cheese, and some brisket and tacos, and
So they really are a medley. That's a lot of different things.
they are a medley. But it's pretty well, except for the mac and cheese. They do cauliflower mac and cheese, so it's a little bit healthier. But they have some pretty good healthy options for being a food truck. So good stuff. If you ever run across them, I'll definitely recommend trying them out.
Well, I am trying to compile a food truck directory as the man who ate the town, and I have around 300 trucks that I have contacted. Many of them are not here, like all over the state,
Right.
but I am asking in an email to each individual one, and I haven't looked at that list in probably 2 months just because things got really hectic here with the reopenings and stuff. But I always ask, do you at least do partial business in Winston? Because if they come for any rodeos or festivals or just a weekend excursion, then I want to list them because I want people to know that they're around. But so Medley, as long as they come to Winston twice a year, is what I think is what I asked. Do you come at least twice a year?
Oh, okay.
Then yeah, I consider that it's still a viable Winston food truck, even if they're not based here. Because Food Freaks isn't based here;
Moxville.
they're in Moxville. So
Moxville.
yeah, and
But they are in Winston and Kernersville.
Yeah.
Oh, every week.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
In
And
fact,
we have.
I had some Food Freaks this weekend. I just got to say,
Ooh,
love you, Brandon.
Woohoo. Brandon is awesome.
good stuff.
Yeah, love the food.
Rockin' Moroccan came into town 2 weeks ago down at Jughead's, and that's the first time that they had been to the big city of Winston. They're based in Greensboro. But they had some really good food too. We were pretty impressed by them as well. So
Cool.
they said they'd come back, but they wouldn't make our list at this point because they've only been here once.
But if they plan on
in the big
coming
city.
back, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They plan on coming back, and then, of course, one of my all-time favorites, that East Coast Wanderers.
Yeah.
Y'all eating from that food
Is it
truck?
East Coast Wanderers or West Coast Wanderers?
West Coast Wanderers.
Yeah.
Your East, my West, whatever. West Coast Wanderers. They were out at Foothills Tasting the other day, and gosh, those tacos, man. That's just some good stuff right there. Just the two ladies that run that truck, they do a pretty good job.
And where are they from? Morocco?
The little Moroccan.
Oh, you're talking about the
Morocco?
West Coast Wanderers.
No, I want to say, I assume that they're from the West Coast somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a California license plate painted on their truck and a Nevada license plate painted on their truck. So maybe
They were
from
just
there.
wandering around.
They're just wandering, and they just brought some tacos with them, and it's just some good stuff. And now I'm hungry. Thanks a lot, fellas.
Well, you
Yeah.
mentioned barbecue, and but need to let everybody know that the October 24th Lexington Barbecue Factory has been canceled because of coronavirus. They
That's a
say
big one.
public safety is their ultimate priority, and after communication with healthcare officials, law enforcement entities, city officials, and others, there is no safe way to plan for and manage what has become the region's largest one-day street festival in historic uptown Lexington, North Carolina. So, given the unprecedented global health crisis, we are confident that we are making the best decision to protect the public and all involved. In 36 years, we have never been in this situation, and we hope to learn and grow from this unfortunate circumstance. They said they do plan on hosting smaller events and virtual elements, but so that they can continue to shine a spotlight on their amazing community while showcasing their world-famous barbecue heritage. So they thank the sponsors, the partners, volunteers, and hundreds of people that make the festival happen each year.
I want to say they get over 100,000 people to that, don't they?
I don't know. It says
It's big.
with the potential of hosting 100,000 plus attendees. It would far exceed the current executive order 151 that prohibits large gatherings. Yeah, that's why, I'm on the board of Pride Winston-Salem, and that's why we canceled ours. Is, last year we had 30,000 people at that festival, and that also far exceeds the amount of people that the governor recommends for people to do in mass.
It's at least
gatherings.
3 people over the limit.
That's at least 3 people. So, anything else on your side, Leah?
I think that's it for this morning.
All right. Well, let's do some food holidays in history.
Let's.
Today is 3 things I can certainly get behind. It's National Scotch Whiskey Day.
Yeah.
I love Scotch whiskey, and I realize watching a lot of Mary Tyler Moore, which we finished in a little over a month a week ago, and now we're watching the Bob Newhart show. Scotch was really big in the early 70s. There's a lot of Scotch being drunk. I had on the Less Desirables this past week, I had Jax Doherty, who is a regional liquor rep, and she was talking about Scotch and people who don't like Scotch. She has one that she wants them to try. It's called Monkey Shoulder. And she says it's a blended, it's 3 different kinds of blended scotches, so it's not a single malt, but it's she says, I guarantee you we won't talk about it. I'm going to show you how to drink it, and then we're going to let you go from there. Now, I do like Scotch. I have my favorites. I have the Ardbeg, which is very peaty and earthy, smoky, and then I have the Dalmore, which is a cigar Scotch. So I like it. It's also today National Creme Brulee Day, and that's one of my favorite desserts to get in a restaurant. And National Chicken Finger Day.
Finger Day.
Chinger Day. It's Chinger Day.
Tim
Chinger.
created a new word today and a whole new menu item. Get your chingers.
Get your chingers right here. On the 27th in 1880, Alexander P. Ashburn, an African-American grocery store owner in California, patented a method for refining coconut oil. In 1910, large hailstones fall in Todd and Wadena counties in Minnesota, some weighing as much as 5 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
That is a big chunk of ice.
Yes, it is.
I don't want that falling on my car.
And where does it come from that big?
The sky.
Yes, but still.
That narrows it down.
It does. Actually, I have an answer for that. As the rain is coming down and then it freezes, if the winds push it back up into the atmosphere, it has a chance to accumulate additional ice before it actually falls.
Okay.
So depending on the turbulence of the air, it can pick those small hailstones up and kind of just put them in a big circle so that they're constantly picking up new material until they get so heavy they just fall.
Right on. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Wizard.
You're welcome.
It's
Yeah,
Ray
your
Nye,
forecast for this
science guy.
Diabolical.
In
And
1931,
some of those big hailstones are just the airplanes dumping things out from the restrooms. So if it's blue, don't try to taste it.
I don't know that I would
Roger
want to
that.
taste hailstones anyway, no matter what kind they were.
You can be sane and rational, but not everybody out there. I wonder what this would taste like. Let me put this in my mouth.
Blue hail and yellow snow. Stay away from both.
Yes.
Good point, Solid.
In 1931, a swarm of grasshoppers destroyed thousands of acres of crops in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. The cornfields were totally destroyed without a stalk left standing.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Those things are just destructive as all get out.
In 2009, the European Council of Ministers bans the imports of seal products in an effort to force Canada to end its annual seal hunts. I believe it worked.
Quit clubbing the baby seals.
Yes. Yes. On the 28th, it's, here you go, Ray, National Milk Chocolate Day.
Yes.
Every time
One
you
of the high
lean,
holy days.
every time you lean back in that chair, I think you're going to break that glass.
Crack.
Listeners can't see Ray, but maybe Lee will take a screenshot of us. But can't see Ray, but he's got a background that has the some stained glass that he does. So
It's very glassy.
it is glassy.
At least
and
my eyes
classy.
aren't glassy.
But and also on the 28th, in 1586, the potato was introduced to England. It is claimed that Sir Thomas Harriot introduced potatoes to England on this day. Some sources give December 3rd as the date.
I'm just picturing this. Your Majesty, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, may I introduce you?
You can change my arms.
But I'm still a potato.
I did the voice for Mr. Potato Head in a fan-made
Oh, did you?
remake of Toy Story. So it's Don Rickles. I had to do some Don Rickles impressions. So, in 1866, on the 28th, the metric system was authorized to standard weights and measures in the United States. Authorized, yes, but we still don't use it very much. It confuses the
Authorized
crap
and
out of me.
ignored.
Yeah, it confuses the crap out of me. It just doesn't make sense because I wasn't raised on it.
Right.
It's higher math.
Where were you
Yeah,
born,
and-
Ray?
I was born in Miami.
All right,
Miami
well,
Beach, actually.
Tomorrow, the 28th, in 1896, Miami, Florida was officially incorporated as a city. Population of
Yay!
about 300.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not even a single quarter block now.
You can't find that in one building, probably.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The place is just, well, from where you start going into the Keys, I'm not going to count the Keys, but from the end of the actual physical state, all the way up the coast, I challenge you to know when you've left one city and gone into the next.
That's true.
Now, there is a point when, if you're looking at the state of Florida, when you go west, there is a point where there is nothing all the way over to the coast, and that's where the Everglades hit.
Right.
We hadn't figured out how to drain the swamp yet. Give them time.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they ever
That
find
swamp is in desperate need of some Drano right now.
were they able to get that plane out that crashed in there?
I think they were.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you for precise, but I mean,
Yeah.
you could get into the Everglades, and you take the airboat towards up through there, and it's really cool.
Cool. On the 28th in 1900, one of the many claims to the origin of the hamburger is that Louis Lassing, or Lassen, first served hamburgers on a bun in his diner in New Haven, Connecticut on the 28th in 1900. In 1977, at 11:02 p.m., the first oil from Prudhoe Bay arrived at Valdez in the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline. It took 38 days to travel the 800 miles.
Wow.
In 1989, a record Atlantic halibut was caught with a rod and reel weighing over 255 pounds. It was caught in Gloucester, Massachusetts by Sonny Manley. That was Manley
just
of film.
figured
to
out,
pull
yeah.
that in. Not bigger than me, but it's not far. Okay, maybe it's a little far.
It's a lot of fish.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
a lot of it.
On the
Just for the halibut.
just for the halibut, a lobster, and I flounder. On the 30th. Oh wait, I'm not done. 29th. We're now 29th. Okay, sorry, I was about to skip a whole day. It's National Lasagna Day. I like it.
Yes.
Oh.
And
Love lasagna.
chicken wing day. We'll learn more about why in a minute. In 1935, the first successful sugar plantation in the Hawaiian Islands was established by Ladden Company of Honolulu. When the company leased the land from King Kamehameha III for 50 years at an annual rent of $300. On the 29th, in 1974, Mama Cass Elliot of the Mamas and Papas died in London. The rumor was that she choked to death on a ham sandwich, which is not true. She actually died of a heart attack while eating a ham sandwich, I think.
I say I've heard the rumor about died of eating the sandwich.
Yeah. In 1977, on the 29th, in Buffalo, New York, they declared this day Chicken Wing Day in honor of the famous buffalo chicken wings created by Teresa Bellissimo. In October of 1964, buffalo wings were created by Teresa at the Anchor Bar in Buffalo for her son and some friends for a midnight snack. So, thank you, Teresa
And the rest is
Bellissimo.
Yeah.
On the 30th, it's National Cheesecake Day. I dig it.
Yeah. Chocolate cheesecake even better.
I don't know that I've ever had chocolate cheesecake.
Have you not? Wow.
I don't
I
know.
don't think I have either.
Oh, y'all messed out. You wouldn't have to do that. Make one. You have
And-
to. Just make it because it's good.
I don't think you want me to make anything.
She is making
We'll let you
herself
thaw one.
notoriously bad cook.
We'll let you thaw one, and that'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
I could probably do that.
I want to introduce you to this cake made by Sarah Lee.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
good at-
really good. The
good at-
raspberry ones in particular.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the 30th is also, and you can't go celebrate at Pulliam's, but the last Thursday of July is always National Chili Dog Day.
Mm.
Oh.
So you can go
Wait a
to
week and you
Kermit's
just go back when
because
they open.
yeah, but you can go to Kermit's because they were on vacation until the 15th and reopen on the 16th. I remember that.
So they're ready.
They're
They'll give
ready.
you a good chili dog.
Yeah, and you know, they cleaned everything, so it might not taste as good at first. You have to give it time to get all that stuff back on it.
Might give it
Get
a
the dirt
week.
back in there.
Yeah, give it a week or so, yeah. And on the 30th in 1838, it supposedly rained frogs in London, and that supposedly spilled over to the next day. It's one of those, the plague of London. In 1975, former Teamsters Union President Jimmy Hoffa disappeared after visiting the Red Fox restaurant in suburban Detroit. His remains have never been found.
Because they're somewhere in the stadium. Just saying.
In New Jersey, in the Meadowlands.
Perhaps.
Well, they tore that down, so they didn't find it when they tore it down. Oh, well.
Well, they didn't look hard enough. They didn't dig up the right part. There's still a little place somewhere.
In 2013, a New York appeals court upheld a ruling that the New York City Board of Health exceeded its authority when it tried to ban sodas larger than 16 ounces. Yes, keep your business out
Your
of
hands on my
mine.
soda.
Yeah. On the
The
31st,
truth is, they give us a lot of health issues.
yeah,
We drink too much soda, it's too much sugar, it's not good for us. It creates all sorts of other issues down the road, and I'm off my soapbox.
right, but
Whose side are you on?
and I'm okay with knowing that. However, it's still my choice whether I want to drink it or not.
Right.
Right. I would not remove your right to drink soda.
Okay.
Personally, I don't drink it much. I used to drink it all the time.
I drink it
Yeah.
when I go to Zesto, and I drink it whenever I go to BLL Rotisserie Factory.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, though, it's water.
I drink coffee through the morning, and then I switch over to water and pretty much stay there. Every once in a while, though, just something about a good soda.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with perhaps an adult beverage in it.
Well, yes, because bourbon makes the Coke taste better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you
Captain
just need
Morgan
some bubbly.
Captain Morgan does great stuff to ginger ale. Just saying.
I can't get. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. What's your last name, Ray?
Go ahead. Oh, that'd be Morgan. And yes, I have people who refer to me as
Captain Morgan.
I've said no. That's actually Supreme Galactic Commander, but okay, I'll say Captain.
Okay.
Yeah, where was I? Okay, on the 31st. I was going to say that I like either Coke or Pepsi. I'm okay with either one. I'm more of a Coke person than Pepsi, but if I'm eating a pizza, I think one of those two should be accompanying it.
It's not a beer.
No, I
Good
do not
beer.
like beer with. Here's the thing. As much as I am an advocate for all things alcoholic, people and beverages, I do not like to eat and drink at the same time. I like to be like
Wrong with you?
when I would go to Willow's. Okay, so I'd go to Willow's and I'd have beverages. The food would come. I would only drink water, even if I had a beverage left. When the food was done, I go back to drinking beverages. I do not like. I'm a foodie and I am an alcohol person. I like the taste of both. I do not want one to ruin the taste of others. Now, that being said, if it's like a wine tasting or a bourbon pairing or something like that, I'm okay with it. But as a general rule, one, I don't like drinking at my house unless there's a party. And two, I don't like mixing my food and beverages. Now,
will
Words to
say-
live by, dog.
There's a reason why we do the pairings, because I'm with you. If you're putting them together and they don't mesh, then
yeah.
But if they do pair well, then okay. You recommended to Whitney that she pick up some of the Young's Double Chocolate Stout,
Yes.
and let me say, it was really good. But we were having some tacos one night, and I had one of those left, and I said, you know what? I want a beer with my meal, because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And those two pairings, the spices from the tacos was amazing with the double chocolate stout. The two were so complimentary. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go buy some more of both.
Well, chocolate and spice do go well together. You can buy chili chocolate.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I'm not opposed to having direction or doing it as part of an event. But as a general rule, I just prefer not to drink while I'm eating or eat while I'm drinking. So
Right.
I just want to be able to savor all of it together. So,
I get that.
all right, on the 31st of July, it's National Raspberry Cake Day. It's also National Avocado Day. I can get
But
behind
not
that.
with the raspberry cake.
No. No,
That would not be good.
no, it would not. And it's also National Cotton Candy Day.
Yeah, but it's over as just as soon as you taste it.
Yeah, it's gone, but it will color
Day's
your
over.
tongue.
Done.
It will color your tongue if it's blue. In 1790, on the 31st, the first U.S. patent was granted to Samuel Hopkins of Vermont. The patent was for a process of producing potash and pearl ash. Potash was used in soap and fertilizer. Pearl ash was also used in baking. It produced carbon dioxide gas in dough used in the first quick breads. Commercial baking powder was not available at the time until 1857, which is a phosphate baking powder. So pearl ash is what they use to help raise bread or rise bread, make bread rise. In 1962, the Little Debbie trademark was registered by McKee Baking Company for her line of, their line of snack cakes. The first one sold in 1960, so it took them 2 years to get the trademark, or at least registered. In 1974, in Quebec, it makes French the official language of government and business in Quebec, because Quebec is one weird-ass place. I want to go so bad, but when I know of it, they are very, very weird. So,
Well, you'll fit in. I mean, let's just face it.
yes, let's. I so badly want to go to Quebec City and Montreal.
Go face it.
Yeah, I'm going to go face it.
Put your face there.
For the second day in a row, it's a raspberry thing. On the 1st of August, it is National Raspberry Cream Pie Day.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 2.
And it's also, it's not my favorite style of beer, but okay. It's IPA Day, where beer enthusiasts, breweries, and bars around the world celebrate IPA Day, a toast to one of the craft beer's most iconic styles, the India Pale Ale.
Nah, no thanks.
I'm
not a big fan of the IPA.
I like double IPAs. I just, it either has to be not hoppy at all or very hoppy. I don't like that middle ground. I want it to either assault my tongue or lull me to sleep. I don't want that. I don't want it to be like the fly that just buzzes around and annoys the piss out of me. I want it to do something.
I remember a couple of years ago, I was over at Total Wine trying to pick up some different stuff. And one of the guys there said that actually here in the Triad, we are one of the highest IPA consuming regions in the entire world. When you look at just strictly how much is being sold, right here.
Well,
Go figure.
That's because Foothills and Natty Greens are both high producers of IPAs. And I mean, Foothills has an IPA of the month in addition to Hopium and Jade and all the other ones that they have. So, like I said, I either want it to be full on or not at all. So, on the first in 1790, the first census happened. We had a total of 3,939,214 mouths to feed in this country back then. I don't know what the census is now because
we're over like 350 million now.
Yeah, they're still doing that, and fighting over who they're going to count and who they're not. But whatever, I'm not going to get into that. On the first in 1793, France introduced the first metric weight, the kilogram. So, if they introduced the kilogram, it's 1,000 gram, right? That's what kilo means.
Yes.
Didn't they have to have the gram first to have 1,000 of them?
Yes.
So how did France introduce kilograms first? How was it the first metric weight?
This goes back to the chicken.
And can I just throw this little thought in there? Sure. It's the metric system. Who cares?
That's right. We're Americans, damn it. We don't deal with that. Except when you're working on, like, lawnmowers. Those are always some metric kind of size. On the first... Go ahead.
To throw this thought in there, as of today, the best we can give it is a number of 331,002,651 people in the United States with an average age of, or median age of 38.3.
Huh.
So there we go.
Very good. Thank you, IT.
More than 100 times what we had back in 1790.
This is so true. It's a lot of multiplying.
A lot.
In 1889, there's a lot of being fruitful. In 1889, on the 1st, it rained ants at Strasbourg, Germany, which I believe Strasbourg now is in France. But in Germany then, it was raining ants. In 1893, Henry D. Perky, I don't know if that's Dr. Perky, that, you know, the knockoff Dr. Pepper drink, and William H. Ford were issued a patent for a machine to produce cereals, which was for shredded wheat. In 1912, Pearson's Nut Goody bar was introduced. I think I've had one of those. 20
Nut
years,
Goody?
huh? Nut Goody.
Nut Goody?
Nut Goody bar. And then 20 years later to the day, the Mars bar candy bar was introduced. You don't see many Mars bars here in the United States anymore. They're big in England, but Mars, you know, it's Marston and Mars is what M&M stands for. So they make several other candies to be happy about. In 1981, on August the 1st, anybody know what happened culturally? American culture? Music culture? The 1st of August will be the launch of MTV. Yeah, many of us forget that MTV exists now because, you know, it's not it's not music television, it's miscellaneous television. That's what the M stands for now. But yeah.
I remember when it first showed up.
Yeah. I wanted my MTV.
Revolutionized the way we revolutionized the way we watched music.
That's exactly right. And it sprung a lot, you know, the first real star that benefited from MTV in their grooming. It wasn't she was still a few years away, but Madonna was a direct result of MTV's push. And it also brought the end to the careers of like Christopher Cross and other people who sounded really great but did not look great.
Yeah.
So on the 1st in 2000,
video killed the radio star.
It certainly did. Listened to them on my wireless back in 22 or whenever it was. In 2010, approximately 23% of U.S. rail cars were in storage. I wonder what that is now. You know, rail. I wish we had a rail system here like they have in Europe.
Be a lot easier for us to get from place to place.
It certainly would. I loved riding the train in Europe. I don't know that I want to be anywhere near a train here. Not the way they are.
I rode a train to Florida years ago, and I'm complete with the experience now. I have no desire to repeat it.
I would totally do, like, if you grab a train in, like, New York City and take it up into Canada and Canada all the way over to, like, Vancouver into, like, Seattle or something. I would love to see the Canadian countryside that way. But going from, like, Greensboro to Philly or someplace like that, no.
I went from Greensboro down to just south of Tampa, St. Pete, and it was even got the sleeper car, paid the extra so we'd have a place to sleep. But when the train is stopping a couple times an hour at a different location, you can't sleep through that.
Well, and you know, that's in Europe. It's not designed. There are a couple with sleeper cars, but for the most part, they're commuter trains, and they are. I mean, I understand like the ones that go from Connecticut into New York City and all that stuff. Those people that take those trains in upstate New York and all that stuff, I get that. But, and because that's what most of that was in Europe, we were getting on a train just to go to the next town. But if you are going a long distance, then that's a little different. But I don't know.
Just give me a car.
Yeah, or just
or a plane if
fly me.
necessary.
You know, I would much rather fly anyway. In 2011, a Berlin court ordered breweries to stop advertising beer as good for people's looks and health. I guess you don't have to advertise that when 2 o'clock comes. Everybody looks good.
You look great through my beer goggles.
On the 2nd of August, it is National Ice Cream Sandwich Day.
Oh.
And it's International Beer Day. And I'm good with both of those. Yeah.
We should have led with the International Beer Day. I mean, that's a big deal. All right, so folks, what was that again on the 2nd?
The 2nd, yes.
The 2nd? On the 2nd, everybody's going to Tim's place, and we're going to drink some beer.
And eat some
Everybody
ice
bring a
cream
couple
sandwich.
cases to share,
Yeah, and bring some ice cream sandwiches too, because I like those too.
please.
On
Oh,
the
and bring your own chair, because Tim doesn't have that many chairs.
yeah. I have plenty of room to stand though. Everyone's welcome to stand.
Yep. And that address is downtown on 4th Street.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's right. Let's see, on the 2nd in 1861, the first U.S. national income tax passed to aid the Union war effort. In 1887, Chester A. Hoge of Beloit, Wisconsin, received a patent for spur rowel barbed wire, consisting of spur-shaped wheels with 8 or 10 points mounted between two wires. It's one of the many patents for barbed wire.
Wow.
In if you ever had a run-in with barbed wire, then you know that owl is not even the right way of saying that. It's shit is how.
Followed by a howl.
Yes. In one of these days, I'll tell you guys the story of my friends and I when we would do bicycle races in West Virginia. We'll just leave it at that for right now. We'll talk about it later. In 1904, on the 2nd, Michael J. Owens received a patent for a glass shaping machine. The patent was assigned to Toledo Gas Company, a glass company. In 1917, on the 2nd,
I wonder if that was the beginning of Owens Corning.
We've talked about Owens Corning before. I think we talked about something with Corning in it. I don't know if it was Owens, but we'll have to look. Next year it'll come back through.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We still won't be ready for it, but it'll come back around next
Yeah,
year.
then we'll forget we even talked about it. But on 1917, on the 2nd, the world's first ocean-going concrete ship, the Namensfjord, was launched in Norway. So I don't know if that means
Is
that
it made
was.
of concrete, or does it pump concrete?
I don't know. 1917, though. Either way, that was, that was like pretty revolutionary for the time. In 1921, the Sunbeam trademark was registered, first used for electric flat irons. In 1980, I don't know why we need to know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The oldest known goldfish in Great Britain, Frederica, died at the age of 40.
Wow. That's old for a goldfish.
I wonder if they flushed it. Let's honor her. Okay.
And they wouldn't have filleted it because that's not good fillet.
It's old fish.
That's old fish right there. Catfish Hunter. In 2002, what's that from? Do you know?
Oh, now you're going to quiz us.
You don't have to answer. It's Grumpy Old
Well,
Man.
good.
Grumpy Old Man. In 2002, a jury awarded $120 million to 17 bakery workers who sued Interstate Brands for racial discrimination. And good for them.
Yep.
That's all your food, holidays, and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, dream about IPAs as long as they're heavy, beer of any kind, milk chocolate, raspberry shit all week, and other just wonderful things.
Yes, including Old Goldfish.
Old Goldfish. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax Vinyl and More, Sipping NC, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diary podcast. You can listen to all these in their latest episodes on the network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You can also.
This is the shining star of the TLD network.
Hell yeah, it is.
The crowning jewel of the TLD network.
Yes, it is. It's not named after this show, but this show has probably got as many followers as most of the other shows. This one is, this one's very important.
Mm-hmm.
You'll also find social media links to each one on the tldpodnetwork.com website as well. And of course, you can you could be listening to this on iTunes or any place you get your podcast from, or the Man Who Ate the Town website.
We thank you for listening to it, and just suggest that maybe you share that with some of your friends and convince them to listen to us.
That's right. Force is a good word. I know.
I can't get out of my chair. Stop me! Help! I can't.
And Street Team Steven said to us this week, thanks for the shout out from last week. So let's talk about our sponsors. Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on carrabbas.com. Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You can find a little bit of everything at the Perk. A chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go. Local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's custard, a wall of beer and wine, and much more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, it's Washington Perk, or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. The Humblebee Shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue and is in the west end of downtown Winston-Salem. You have not had good until you've tasted the treats and goodies that Brittany is whipping up in her shop, be it muffins, cake, macarons, vegan, gluten-free, all that stuff. The Humblebee Shop wants to challenge your perception of scratch made and leave you with an experience that you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit thehumblebeeshop.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
This is a reminder to all the listeners, and it's just good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn hands.
Wash them with warm water and soap. Wash with soap for 20 seconds or more. Sing a song to you. Listen to the intro of this podcast. You listen to the outro of this podcast, or just listen to this damn podcast. You don't have to wash your hands the whole time, but do wash your hands.
But if you do wash your hands for the entire length of the podcast, I promise you they will be clean.
Yes, and sore.
Very.
And pruny.
Yeah.
Pruny.
Keep your eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have food news, send us an email. Tim, Leah, or Ray at themanwhoatetown.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast, 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422.
Numb.
Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM. Well, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And I'm Leah.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.